Hello there, Taurus. Welcome on into a general weekly reading for you for this upcoming week. Or maybe you're in the middle of the current week we are speaking upon. But regardless, keep in mind as always, energy is fluid. So just see how the week goes, right? See how the reading resonates as we continue. But some energy oracle for Taurus. Flopping out. Rest and rejuvenation, my friend. What have you been through? I feel this collective has gone through more than they will even begin to vocalize, but I see there being a bit of a focus on you now needing to speak up about some things you've been through. And you may be worried about certain individuals in your life, even at a distance for a lot of you, who care about you. It's like you kind of don't want them to stumble upon that piece of content online or whatever it may be. But it's the sense of you needing to now share what you've been through a little bit more. And do so selectively, trust your intuition. But this is a week for you where resting is going to feel different. Rejuvenation is going to feel so essential because you've, again, been through a lot. And it's not to say that we're going to overly focus upon that or at all, but it's about sort of just flowing with the way spirits are going to help you in regards to achieving this, okay? And your patience is more than ever, I'm hearing, intact. It's being trusted. It's being utilized to your advantage. And it's sort of a moment or two throughout the week, I'm getting specifically, where something specific would have tested or actually disturbed your patient nature as a Taurus. And what happens is you take a moment and you focus on your breathing, whether it's you're stepping away from that person, that opportunity in the moment, that accomplishment, or whatever it may be, and you collect yourself and then you proceed on forward with such a good head on your shoulders, all right? And they're saying this is kind of part of the process of you resting and, healing, rejuvenating once again. It's you saying things aren't going to get the best of me because I'm not who I used to be, You're still very sensitive as a Taurus. By no means, necessary is what I'm hearing. But I feel you are, that sensitivity is going to work in your favor throughout the week more than it has been. And it's sort of a difference in regards to the way you are taking action, right? You know that you need to do this more and this even less. And it's like you adjust accordingly, you apply yourself accordingly. But then going back to what we were saying, walking away, reiterates that message of you taking action in the moment and then stepping away from what is about to test your patience and leave you maybe a bit irked, irritated, flustered, nervous. Because what are you doing in that moment? You're protecting your energy and you're protecting whatever results you wish to see out of what you need to in the moment step away from. But Spirit is saying, let's move on to the tarot. I'm now really getting this epic message that time is on your side. It reminds me of the other day I was going to my serving job and I take 2 buses. It takes about an hour and a half. Wild, I know. But I typically have to wait a bit, and I hop to the bus stop. It's about a half an hour walk to the first one, and that bus came within a couple minutes. It was almost, it was quicker than I expected. And then I got to the next stop and I didn't even have to wait. The bus was already waiting for me. And before you know it, I was too early for work, but it was meant to be. And so you're going to find that there are moments throughout the week where you just feel like you end up where you're meant to be. You feel like you accomplish what you're meant to in the right timing. I even feel like there's a lot of angel numbers for you, even if you're not one to normally see a ton of them. It's like Spirit saying, we're using time to your advantage on more than one level. Beautiful. You might even find, as I struggle a bit, that there's certain spiritual entities and maybe other people in your physical reality throughout this week period giving you the reminder that you need to smile a bit more, loosen up. It's not all stern and bold and maturity at this point. It's about, enjoying yourself a bit more, and this, but I guarantee it's super hard for you to remember in the midst of being torn in different directions and having a lot on your plate, and again, being ultra sensitive. And you just feel so caring, but we need you to recognize when you need to detach from who or what you're caring about a bit too much in the moment. You know, in wherever you're needing to assist others, wherever you're needing to assist yourself, it's going to easily come to be. You know, we're at a point individually along our Taurus path. I have Taurus in my chart, where to force it just doesn't really do it. You know, it will leave you feeling so off, you know, and then you might even find that you're no longer wanting to even accomplish or connect with who or whatever it ends up being, because the forcing it left you feeling some sort of negativity. But the Hermit card and the Three of Pentacles coming out, as it is a period of self-discovery but self-mastery more than ever. And I see spirits labeling you as a master, and maybe other people as well, especially online for some. But the Hermit card is giving me this sort of peace. Look at the repeating imagery. Look at that repeating imagery. And they're saying, meditate, Taurus, reground, focus on your breathing, you know, start your day off in the way that you wish to see it proceed. It sounds obvious, but maybe even that's sort of a reset that you need to take about halfway through the day, or maybe after work, or after you associate yourself with somebody, or you accomplish something. In this reset, however you go about doing so, and I feel meditation will be a really good strategy, it's leaving you feeling kind of a freshness taking over, you know, maybe even a different approach where otherwise you wouldn't have. And people are noticing you in this very hermit-like, masterful, very spiritual, intuitive light. You might even find for some of you randomly, somebody feels like you are reading their mind. I guarantee spirit has something to do with it. And that happened to me last night at my serving job. But it's to say that people need to be impressed by you. Okay, people need to feel like you are doing what you're meant to, and you know what you're doing all the meanwhile. But you may still kind of feel like you're figuring things out. While I do sense a confidence in regards to a skill set of yours, or maybe multiple. It could be, you know, your job or running your business. You know, helping people for a lot has something to do with it. But it's a week where you get to know yourself a bit better, but it's not really about that in the moment, and you'll feel this. It's about stepping in the right direction, and all the meanwhile just kind of almost indirectly learning and discovering once again more about who you are and who you're becoming. And we're each needing to better understand, as I need to back up a bit, keywording, as we're each needing to better understand what we wish to see and experience out of life, we can then adjust and adapt accordingly. You know, we can even then walk away from this and that in the future when the timing is divinely correct for you. Look up the angel number 819, 819, and I'm getting 222 and 347. I know I held up a 5, so maybe 345 is relevant, but 347. Count your blessings, all right? You're going to keep hearing this. You may as well feel like it's not all about the freedom that you deserve and will acquire in the future, regardless of how far out it is. But it's more about you achieving maybe smaller amounts, different other kinds of levels of freedom where you're at currently. And what that helps you do is make the best, right? What that helps you do is get ready for whatever it is you're thinking about that will provide you with beautiful amounts of releasing freedom, okay? And what has been weighing you down, Taurus, set it free. You know, I'm not saying break up with that person or quit that job or whatever. You know, your commitments are what they are at this point, and we'll change them if need be in the future. But it's about you saying, I have been carrying this burden of a habit, or I've been carrying this concern, or I care about this and that too much at certain points where it adds heaviness. Set it free, you know? And so you may see the words, let it go, let it flow throughout the week. And that's super important for you. Flowers will show up, sunflowers very specifically, and dandelions. It's to say as well that you're going to be, okay, smelling better, feeling better. I'm sorry about the energy in the background. But okay, you're going to feel like a very spiritual tree. I know that sounds wild to say, but they're saying grow a new tree, you know, where you feel like you need to start fresh and plant new seeds. This is a great time to do so. It's going to satisfy you greatly. It's some of you maybe working your behinds off to get a social media platform off the ground, and it's just not growing in the ways that it's meant to. Start a fresh one. Maybe you already started inching towards that. Now is a period where it's like you stop putting this heaviness into that other platform or whatever kind of situation it is, and that one grows easily while the other one now grows even easier as well. And it just reminds you that there are certain moments where you're not realizing you're adding heaviness to stuff, you know, commitments included. Wow, as I stutter a bit. It's going to feel like you're about to overthink and then it just doesn't happen. You know, I just saw 11:11 on the timestamp, and so a wish will be granted by the end of this week. That is where I'm going to leave our Taurus weekly reading. You will be victorious, my friends. Do take care.